I move for no man, no man, no man, no man, no
We'll call it a draw.
man.
Just a flesh wound, 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 just a flesh wound.
I saw you with Fernando Vargas.
My dude.
Dude, he's unrecognizable.
Yeah,
Like
different guy.
150 pounds.
Yeah, so I've been talking about nutrition for a couple of years now, and I'm actually going to be helping his kids. He's got 3 sons who are fucking badasses. Like his oldest is about to turn pro. They're all like super high level amateurs.
That other Colombian that was really good, the Chino dude.
Colombian.
Is he Colombian? He's
Chino
like
is
Latin.
That's Maidana from Argentina.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Maidana. Yeah. Marcos.
Is he Colombian?
No, he's Argentinian. He's from.
He's gotten really fat too.
Yeah. I think he's talking about making a comeback. I trained with him in Oxnard, in California.
He's a fucking monster, man.
Fucking beast. I was his sparring partner for 3 camps. The guy's a killer. Absolute killer.
Dude, he had his fight. He fought Mayweather, right?
Twice.
Yeah. Dude, his fights with Mayweather, like.
The first one, he was fucking really in that fight.
I mean, dude, it's like.
He's one of the hardest punchers I've ever been in the ring with.
A lot of great moments, man.
Yeah.
It's not like you look at that fight and you go, "Oh yeah, Mayweather fucking crushed him," you know.
Did work.
That fight's crazy because that really showed that Floyd Mayweather has a great chin because he got cracked with a right hand from Maidana really bad. And people are like, "Oh, you can see his tooth fly." It wasn't his tooth; it was spit, but whatever, Vaseline or whatever. Yeah. But like, he got fucking cleaned with a right hand. Took it, walked back to the corner. Like, the greats all have good chins. Like people are like, "Oh, Floyd never got hit." Nah, he got hit. He's got a great chin.
Dude, talking about a great chin, did you guys see the John Jones fight? We didn't talk about this.
I did. Yeah. So listen to this. Dom Reyes is from my alma mater, Stony Brook University. He played football there. Yeah, so we talk about him all the time.
Dude, he did really good.
He's a superb athlete.
He did exceptionally well, man. Like, I think I was expecting him to do well, like on some level. Like,
yeah, I did too.
I think I looked at like his previous fights, saw he hits hard, saw like he's, a very capable striker, saw that like it's not like, John's just going to be able to put him down at will. Like he's got other talents. It's not like he just does striking.
And he's big, really big.
Big dude. And
survivor.
A guy that does well in stand up that's hard to take down is like really tough for John. Like his last couple fights, that's kind of like been really close to like, a guy. It almost looks like, hey man, if he gets hit, just a little bit differently, or a little bit more, it might be the other guy's fight. This was this was the closest fight in a John Jones fight, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was just going to say that the judges' scorecard was fucking crazy, dude. I couldn't believe the one judge scored at fucking 46-49. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what it is? When you fight guys who are legends, they get the benefit of the doubt at every clip. So that just builds up throughout each round. So they end up winning a round that was close.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the time, you look at it, it's like, the guy won fucking 4 rounds out of 5. Did you guys see Jan, the Polish guy?
Yeah.
Dude.
Man.
He's a beast.
Yeah. He did you see that, Gary?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
The UFC on Saturday?
John
Blachowicz.
Is that what it is? Blachowicz?
Who did he fight?
He had a rematch with somebody beat him in the past. He's the one who just knocked out Luke Rockhold back in July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that big Polish.
Don't know if I saw that specific fight.
He's a problem. He is a big, strong, dangerous guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that the other guy was going to beat him.
I did too. I thought it was going to be a repeat, but
Corey Anderson.
Oh,
Corey Anderson. Yeah. Corey's a good fighter.
Dude. Corey's an excellent fighter.
No, I haven't seen those.
He's been looking really good.
I remembered Corey. I remember that Corey was fighting, and then somebody asked me if I was watching the card. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I heard about
Corey got knocked out the first round.
Knocked out, yeah. Yeah, it sucks. He's. I haven't had like a super close relationship with Corey or anything, but he trains out of Ricardo's with the rest of the guys. So, I'm friendly with him. I say hello. He comes and spars at Henzo's and stuff like that. And seems like he works really hard. Good tough wrestling background. He's getting a lot better with the stand-up stuff. And he's had a pretty good run recently.
Yeah.
Really well against some really tough guys that a lot of people didn't think he was going to beat. So, yeah, it's a tough setback because I think had he won this one, it would have pretty much been him and John.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that was Jan called out John immediately after the fight, and I would assume with the way UFC works, he's probably going to get that title shot next.
Who else are they going to give it? You know what I mean?
Well, a rematch with Dom Reyes.
Yeah, that's really the only other thing they can do.
But if you're John, do you do that? I don't.
I mean,
that's a terrible idea for John.
Yeah, but I think he wants it. I think he wants it just to like take the doubt out of anybody's mind that he's the greatest of all time. Because a lot of people are saying that Dom won the fight, so I'm sure that doesn't rub him the right way.
I do think that a rematch between the two, I think it's more decisive towards Jones. I don't think a rematch favors Dom Reyes.
I agree.
How come you're at the gym, Gary? Were you like teaching?
Oh, no, I was meeting up with a friend of mine who's like a counselor and owns a bunch of rehabs out in Texas. And I was talking to him about my dad's situation so that I can kind of like restructure the way that I'm thinking about it and approach it the right way with the rest of my family. And just, I think that this is, I think that like people have tried to get some outside help in the past, for my dad and things. I think when my mom was, ultimately when my mom got divorced from my dad, it was, because of, drug and alcohol addiction and stuff like that. I don't think there was a DUI at that point or anything, but, there was obviously struggles and, there was some problems. So I think she sought out some counseling and things, but there wasn't as much leverage, I don't think back then for change. I think it was easy for my dad to just kind of think like, whatever I'm doing is fine. And, she's forcing me into an ultimatum, where I have to choose between my marriage and my kids and things like that. And, the way I want to live my life. And I think that's the kind of the way that he conceptualized it.
Mm-hmm.
When my mom kind of said like, hey, you got to do something about this or we're going to get divorced. Right. But now it's kind of getting to a point where, he needs our help, right. To be able to fight off a DUI. And it's like, well, if you're not going to play ball, if you're not going to like, try to get help, you're not going to try to help yourself. You're not going to try to do these things. You're going to be fucking, stuck. Like you're going to have to do it all on your own, which I think is going to be really tough for him to do. And he's not going to be really willing to do that. So, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I go back to the family, talk to people and, kind of see what's going on and educate everybody. Cause there's a lot of different feelings, different emotions. My sister's very sad about the whole thing. My aunt is very frustrated because she's been dealing with this shit her whole life, helping my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And, just a lot of different takes. So I kind of got to like go back, educate everybody with what I just talked to this guy that's, got the counseling and rehab experience,
mm-hmm.
And kind of move forward and pick a good direction and try. But everybody's got to kind of be on board, right? Because if there's one hole in the cracks and one person is going to enable him and the rest of us are going to try to.
And he's going to cling onto that.
It's kind of hard.
So is this the first time that you guys are going to collectively, that you guys have reached out to him or spoken to him?
I'm sure that, like I said, individually, I think, and everybody's kind of done different things with my dad, and everybody's kind of tried to handle it in their own way. And I'm sure we've all discussed with each other, issues, but I don't think we've had like a united front as far as how to try to get him help or one way or the other or anything like that. And hopefully this time, we can organize that. I think everybody's very willing in the family to make that happen. So I don't think it's going to be a difficult thing, one way or the other. I think everybody's kind of on board with like, hey, let's stop enabling and like, let's, try to go a different direction because everything else wasn't working. Right. So, but anyway, that's who I was meeting up with. And it was about 10 minutes down the road from my gym. That's where my computer is most of the time. Okay. So I just popped over. I figured in order to do the podcast as quickly as possible, I just gotcha. Started here instead of driving it back to my house.
Gotcha.
Word.
Yeah.
Anything interesting this weekend? Anybody do anything interesting?
Yeah, I was in Colombia. I just got back about 12, 15 hours ago.
Did you get into any trouble over there?
I mean, I was at a wedding and like it was a really in and out. So. Didn't
you get stabbed in Colombia?
Literally, last time I was in Colombia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Medellin. I was in Medellin like 3 years ago for Halloween, and it's a dangerous place for sure. It's a beautiful country, phenomenal people, fantastic place.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for the WBA boxing yearly conference, and I was speaking about nutrition for amateurs. So I was one of the presenters there, and one of the nights out, I was there again, another very, very short trip, kind of in and out. I was in camp with another fighter, so I couldn't really get away for too long. So I went down there, and I'm like, man, I'm in Colombia. I'm not here for very long.
Did what all the dumb tourists do when they start having drinks. I want the local experience.
Not even that. I wasn't even drinking at that point. I was just like, I kept going out, so every night. So I came home, and I was like, I'm sorry, I landed in the afternoon, and the sun was still out. I was like, and I was so tired from traveling because I left really early in the morning. I was like, I can take a nap now, but by the time I get up, it's gonna be dark. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, or I can go out now and kind of see everything while it's so light. And like everyone was telling me how dangerous it is, but I was like, I'm so tired. So I took a nap, wake up, it was dark. I'm walking out, and one of kind of like the overseers and someone involved with the WBA was like, whoa, champ, where are you going? I was like, I'm just gonna go, walk around a little bit. He goes, why? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in Colombia. I want to see kind of what's going on. Which way should I go? And he's like, you're going alone?
Turn around.
He's like, no. He's like, and I'm like, no. He's like, you got to be careful. I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, no. He's like, yeah. He's like, do you have any jewelry that you care about? I'm like, no, not really. Just cheap stuff, whatever. He goes, okay. He's like, do you want me to drive you? I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. So wherever yeah, okay. So he drives me and he shows me kind of around the downtown, whatever. And then eventually just drops me off. I find a place. I get some food. I have a couple beers. I'm drinking. I'm hanging out. First night, no problem. So I'm out. I meet some locals. I'm hanging out. Have some drinks. Eat some food. Walk back to the hotel. No problem. Next night, after the event, I do the same thing. And now I'm actually meeting friends, like people who were at the conference. And we're out. And we're hanging out. We're drinking. And then
Chris is like, I'm going to show you guys the rope.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you the ropes, guys. I know a lot of locals.
And I'm out with Lupe Contreras, the ring announcer, and one of the judges. And there was an amateur boxing fight the next night. I think it was actually pro fights too. Anyway, they were working the next night. So they're like, we're not going to hang out too late, whatever. Former WBA world champion Kina Malpartida wants to come out. And she texts us and she's like, hey, I want to come out. And I'm like, all right, well, we're here, but I'm gonna walk you here. So I go from the bar that we're at and I walk to the hotel. It's not far. I meet with her and I walk her to where we are because I didn't want her to walk alone being a female. So we come back, we hang out for a little bit, and then the judge and the referee and the announcer are like, we have to work tomorrow. We're not really drinking, we're not really hanging out. We're gonna head back. So Kina just came out and she's like, I'd like to have a few more drinks. We could just kind of hang out and stay. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's hang out for a little bit. The two guys leave. We're hanging out. And we have a few more drinks, and then we're like, all right, let's kind of walk around and see what's up. We're walking around, and it's Halloween night in Medellin, Colombia.
It must have been crazy, huh?
Like super lit. Everywhere's wild. Everybody's asking us, hey, cocaína, tengo cocaína, and like everywhere we go. And so we're like, let's get out of here. We'll go back to the hotel and whatever, and call it a night. It's getting a little ugly. So we're walking, and literally the hotel's in sight. It starts downpouring. So we're like, shit. We go. Oh, I'm sorry. Right before that, right? So we're walking. These two hookers start kind of talking to us. These two young, whatever. And they're like, and we're like, oh, good. Keep walking. Then it starts downpouring. So then, we walk behind a tree. Right behind the tree, two guys come out. Right around. Come right at us. I'm like, fuck, here we go. And they start coming. They start speaking. My Spanish is conversational. Like I can get by. I can't fight. I can't argue.
You can't fight off a mugging in fucking Spanish.
I know we're in trouble, but I can't argue. I can't sit there and rattle off. So Kina's from Peru, and so she's like, and I'm looking at her. I'm like, stop. Like she's getting way too heated.
She's getting heated, huh?
Yeah. Well, she's a world champion boxer, so we're both world champions. And she starts telling them that. I'm like, I'm looking at this kid. Nonverbal communication. I'm looking at this kid's face. I say kid because he was probably 17.
Cool. We'll just use your knives then.
Right. Yeah. So I'm looking at this kid's face and I'm like, he's not here just to rob us. Like he's asking him a plata. I'm like, yeah, nah, it's more than that. We're getting into something right now. So I start getting that vibe for that nonverbal communication as he's looking at me the way that he's looking at me. She's not getting it. So I look at her and I put my arm kind of to the side and kind of push her behind me. As I do that, guy goes to tackle me. Kid dives in shoulder first, boom. I whizzer overhook with my right arm, whizzer down, boom, push him away, and then I go to punch him. Boom. I see a glimmer of something. Don't know what it was. Whew, he swings it. I start seeing that. So I like literally jump back on my hips and I throw the punch. I hit him right on his cheek. Boom. And he hits me right on my rib. Boom. He goes down flat on his back. The guy who's with him, I go to turn to hit him and he didn't move at all. Like he was a junkie. He was like turned over. He had like sores all over his face and around his mouth. It's like I'm about to crack him, and then I'm like, I don't really want to touch this guy. He didn't even move. So I'm like, I don't need to hit him. And then I turn back and I'm gonna go literally smash this kid's head into the ground. He's already running off. Okay. So boom, and then I turn and Keena, the woman I was with, had kind of run off. So I run up that way. And meanwhile, she didn't even see what happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got hit. I got hit with something. Something hit me. So it's pitch black. I'm looking under my shirt. I'm like literally looking to see if there's blood, how it is, whatever. Thank God I was wearing a leather jacket.
The junkie had his tongue out like, Chris, come, punch me in the face. Ah.
So then I
will lick you.
Running back, and I'm like, we get back to the hotel. I say goodnight. I go to my room, and then I'm like in the mirror in my bathroom, like looking. I had literally like a blade mark about this big.
Yeah.
Like slice. Thank God I had a leather coat on.
Fuck, dude.
And then I'm thinking like, what was on that? What was on where he had? Like, do I have? I started getting itchy, like psychosomatic. I'm like, I have herpes. I have AIDS. I'm fucking.
You hit him right in his face, in his sore, dude, in his mouth.
Was like, I'll send you pictures.
And popped his it.
Boom, right on his cheek, and I was like, oh. And then I got hit, but it's weird, man. Like afterwards, I'm like, I got hit with something. You know, I saw the glimmer.
Man.
I'm talking to my brother, and he goes,
"You got tetanus shot."
How was your trip? I'm like, oh, it was good. I was like, I got mugged though. He goes, what'd they get? I'm like, right hook. And he's he's like, what? And then I sent a picture of my knuckle, and then I sent a picture of my rib, and he goes, motherfucker. He's like, you didn't get mugged, you got stabbed.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I guess so, maybe.
Dude, and you didn't treat that wound. What if it was like a rusty blade?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but I mean.
Thank God it was also he tried to slash you instead of stab you.
Right, he swung it.
Because the slash might not quite get through the leather, but a stab would go right through, no problem, even if it wasn't a very sharp knife.
I think it was like a box cutter.
Yeah.
It was wide. And
yeah.
So I just saw a gleam. I think it was like really dull, like for what it was. Like, I couldn't see it. It could have been just like a piece of metal for all I know.
Sure.
I thought I just got punched in the rib, and then when I saw the line, I was like, all right.
Well, you probably had a couple of drinks and your adrenaline was kicking, so.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I knew what was going on. Like I told you, like I'm looking at this kid's face. I'm like, something's going on here.
It's funny you mentioned that like happened in Colombia too. Like it's like, I guess of course like they're dangerous places in these sorts of things, but it's like, I don't know, man. I never got into a street fight in my life until I went to fucking South Korea recently. Mm-hmm. And I got into a fucking street fight there.
Like your first ever street fight.
South Korea is gonna be where I.
Isn't it weird being like a grown man who's a professional fighter and like you don't get into street fights and now you do? Like,
now I do all of a sudden.
Gary,
I get paid to fight and now this shit happens?
I haven't heard the story. I haven't heard the story before. Oh, yeah. Please do tell.
I never told it because I was afraid. Like I didn't know if I was gonna at the time. I was thinking about like posting something about it. I'm like, all right, well if I do, and then there's cameras or anything, like I might get stuck in fucking South Korea. They might fucking put me in prison, whatever. Yeah. So I never really said much about it except for to like close friends. So we're out there for Ryan Benoit's UFC fight. I'm there to corner him. You know, I was coaching him a little bit. He came to train at Henzo's for a bit before his fight, and we go out one night. I'm with my buddy Yuting, and Yuting, he's like one of my main sparring partners. I actually brought him there because I thought I might have a fight, like pretty soon afterwards. So I was like, oh man, I want to have a sparring partner because I can't use Ryan because Ryan's getting ready for his fight. Of
course.
I want to have a sparring partner so that I'm like ready for this.
Yep.
So we go out one night. And it was the first night that we went out like to the local bars and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we are using like Google Translate to try to communicate with people.
Nice.
And poorly. Like it didn't.
Not well. Not going well.
we were talking to these two girls at this bar or whatever, and not much is getting through. But
you were talking or negotiating?
No, not negotiating.
Wait, what color was your beard? Was your beard blonde or was it brown?
It was brown. I think I was all there was no blonde except for in the hair still.
So you're like, it was just you. No, yeah. It wasn't the alter ego, the fighter.
No, yes. Still looked like me.
It wasn't Wolverine.
Yeah. So we're talking to these two girls, and I noticed something. I'm very observant whenever I'm out because I'm just like hypersensitive to like everything. I try to pay a lot like close attention to my surroundings. When I sit down in a restaurant, I like try to pay attention to like where I can exit.
You're a martial artist. That's that's how martial artists are. Like people don't understand that. Like if you have trained in the arts, like you're aware.
Yeah, like I don't feel comfortable like in New York. Like the subway system makes me incredibly uncomfortable. Like I have difficulty sitting down. I have difficulty using my phone for any extended period of time because I see so many fucking weirdos around me, and you're in such an enclosed area that I'm legitimately at almost all times at a heightened sense of like somebody's gonna fucking stab me or fucking rob me, or I'm gonna be near some crazy person that's gonna bump into me and try to push me into the fucking tracks. Like who the fuck knows? So I'm
just because it could happen, not because like you're
exactly. Right. Just because it seems like an area where there's more danger. Like out in the open, at least you're in public and people, somebody stabs me here in the subway and there's nobody around. Like, yeah, I don't know, like what's gonna happen. So anyway, we're talking to these chicks, and I see as I'm looking around, this guy who's super drunk start kind of trying to dance with some girl, and she's not having it.
With one of the girls that you're talking to?
No, not with the girls.
Just a random chick.
Just a random chick. I see him try to dance with this girl. The girl's
not.
Is he
a Korean dude or like a foreigner?
Korean dude.
Okay.
He's trying to dance with this chick. She's not having it. Okay. And not like in a super crazy weird way. Not like where he's like grabbing her and like doing something super inappropriate. Just like he's trying to like get close to her, and she's
being obnoxious.
Yeah, he's being a little obnoxious. She's kind of being like, get away from me. Mm-mm. So I see this dude and I notice it, and I go, this guy's a little out of control. He could have a problem later on. Let me try to avoid him. Let me try to make sure nobody around me is interacting with this guy, whatever. He doesn't really get in our hair at all. He's like in another part of the bar. So I don't even think anything of it. I just, keep a mental note. So then we go to walk to a new bar. So me, Yu Ting, and these two girls, we had another guy with us as well, but he stayed. I guess he was talking to somebody else. Decide we're going to go somewhere else. So we maybe spent all of 20 minutes total talking to these girls. Barely know them. Don't really know what. We're just like, they're going to go to another bar. We'll go to another bar. These are our only contacts other than the guy we left behind.
Yep.
So as we're walking, that same guy brushes past me and one of the girls. And when I say brushes past, that's being very nice about it. He barrels into both of us hard. Like knocks into my shoulder, knocks into her shoulder, and just kind of walks by. And just as a reaction,
intentional?
What's that?
Do you think it was intentional, or was he just stumbling drunk?
No idea. It's hard to tell because I couldn't see him coming.
Right.
He's definitely super drunk, so it's one or the other. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like white people. I don't know. So he goes and he barrels into us, right? And I don't care. Like I said, I've never been in any street fights up until this point, other than little scuffles with friends. Not like somebody attacking me on the street, like similar to like Chris's situation, Mm-hmm. So he barrels into me. I'm not looking to start a fight or anything, but I just like react, and I'm just like, oh wow, what the fuck? Now he doesn't know any English, and you'll understand why in a second, but apparently he recognizes the word fuck. So as soon as he hears me say fuck, he turns around, and he's got like a couple friends with him, and he starts screaming in my face. He goes, fuck,
yes, fuck, yes. Fuck.
I fuck you.
I fuck you. Fuck you.
So yes, I'm just kind of like holding my hands, like I'm getting ready because I don't know. He's getting pretty aggressive. So I'm just like put my hands like this, and I'm just giving him kind of like an expressionless face, like, you want to do this? Like, this is where we're going. And he's screaming, and I can't communicate because he doesn't know English. So I just don't even really say anything, but he's still screaming fuck. Now the girl comes around the corner from where I am, and it's similar to your situation, Chris. Now, I don't know what she was saying, but she definitely took it up a level. Like, so again, speaking in a language that you don't fucking, and like as much as you know conversational Spanish, like I understand conversational Spanish, I know zero Korean.
Yeah.
So I have no clue what's going on.
She probably said, my friends are going to beat your ass. Get out of here.
So She's screaming at this dude in Korean, okay? This dude doesn't hesitate, okay? He gets screamed at for maybe 2 seconds. And I just see him raise his hand and boom, just right
in the face.
Just hard, just whack.
Whoa! Straight
no
up
hesitation whatsoever from him about slapping her in the face.
Damn,
I guess he hesitated to hit me. He
Right.
definitely hesitated to hit me. He wasn't, but the girl, as soon as she started yelling and coming around the corner, boom.
So he's hit women before, not white men, though. So he's used to hitting women.
So he's about halfway. As soon as I see that this is gonna happen, I already raised my hand and I smack him almost simultaneously.
So you guys, so you had a double smack.
Yeah, he smacks
her and you
probably
smack
like
him?
this. You know, like he smacks and then right after I get my smack in. So he gets he walks backwards. It almost looked to me, based on his facial expression, like he could not believe that him smacking her resulted in me smacking him.
He's like, whoa, bro, we're on the same
like,
side.
Bro, we hit bitches around here.
What
What?
we
Are
do
you fucking
here.
kidding me?
We hit women in public.
Yeah,
He's like,
This our
like
shit,
looking at me
bro.
like,
what the fuck, bro?
so now,
I'm on your side.
but now he's got him and his
Thought we were good.
I thought I was helping you out.
exactly right. He's like, I'm keeping her in mind for
not
you.
me.
So he is now, he's stumbling backwards. He's confused. And his two friends are obviously probably seeing that there's something wrong, but he charges towards me. Now, after I had already hit him and he hit the girl, it's like, all right, I know this is on, but I still, he had charged towards me in a way where he didn't like have his hands up ready to strike me. So I didn't feel any immediate danger of getting hit. He was just moving towards me. Right. So because he had his hands down, I just grabbed him by his jacket and I just
do that Masvidal move.
Kicked his legs out from underneath him. So I just went, whoo.
Nice little trick. Yeah.
He spun so
trip.
fast that his fucking neck bounced off the ground. Okay. So he's like,
drunk too.
he's ass over tits, falling on the floor, bam, just like this.
This
now,
is the problem when people who know how to fight people who don't.
It's
they get hurt.
Dude.
They don't know how to protect themselves at all.
Yeah.
They don't know how to
Gary
fight.
could have spiked his head on the concrete.
I got a story after this one.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So I do a we call it a Diashi Harai. That's like a judo technique where you just fucking kick both legs out, boom. So anyway, he's down. His friend was approaching at the same time, grabbed me by the back of the coat, and the same thing. I had a big thick leather jacket on. It's cold as fuck in Korea at this time. So he grabs me by the collar as I'm kind of sweeping the dude, and he pulls me down to the ground. So I'm down on the ground. I know that his friend's down on the ground, and this big, tall, goony dude is standing over top of me. But again, he doesn't really show me any signs that he's going to punch me or anything. I don't know if he was going to wait for me to get up. Who knows? But he's standing over me. So I grab both of his legs. I do a tripod sweep. I put one foot on the hip. I sweep the other leg out from underneath him, drop him to his ass. So now I get back up. I'm back on my feet. He's down. And I'm looking around because I need to like get my bearings on what's happening again. So I look over and my buddy Yuting has the other guy pinned up against the car in a Russian arm like this. So he's holding onto the dude's arm, like whispering in his ear. He's like, "You don't want
Russian."
Yeah. So he's holding on to the fucking arm.
If you Russian someone who doesn't know wrestling or anything, they don't know what to do at all. They're like, "What?"
So the dude's completely stuck. So he's got one of the guys tied up, but there's still two people I got to deal with, and the crazy chicks are fucking screaming and getting into the fight too. So I turn back at the dude that I originally kicked his legs out, and he's now on the ground holding the girl by her hair.
Oh my God.
So originally my thought was he's holding the girl by the hair, like he must be like hitting her or whatever, this, that, and the other thing. But I think later on, after I like reanalyze the situation, I think what he was really doing is because the chick was aggressive, obviously, because he fucking hit her before. I think he was trying to hold her at a distance so she wasn't fucking hitting him. So she's just holding her hair.
She wanted to get him back.
In my mind, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, this dude's still after this chick. I'm gonna fucking bury him. Like he's gonna die. So I start marching over, ready to bury my boot into the fucking side of his head. And then at that very moment, my brain goes, "No, you can't do that." He's like, "If you bring it to this level and you fucking cave this guy's head in, you're going to jail for sure. Like there's no doubt about it. You're gonna be in a South Korean prison for the rest of your life." So I'm like, okay, can't do that. So then I get behind him and I start strangling him. So I start strangling him and I look over at his other friend and his friend starts walking towards me. I'm like, if I keep strangling, King can only handle one guy at a time. This other guy is going to probably try to hit me while I'm strangling the dude. I don't want to have to deal with both of these guys at once. I don't know if I can put this guy out before the other guy comes over. So I switch stances completely. And I'm like, all right, fuck, I'm not going to strangle. I just peel his hands off of the chick. I drag the chick away. Yu-Ting gets a hold of the other girl and we just kind of pull them apart. We're still kind of screaming at each other and this, that, and the other thing, but that was kind of the end of it. Now, that's the end of the confrontation, but it's not the end of the story. There's a little bit left of the story that makes it just so much more special than just the average street fight. So we finally get them away, and I'm like talking to Yu-Ting. I'm like, listen, like, because these girls are sobbing, they're bawling their eyes out. This is very traumatic for them, obviously. So I turned to him, I'm like, dude, we got to make sure that these chicks get home safe, like figure something out. But we can't communicate with them. Hell, they're fucking emotional as hell. The Google Translate's a bitch. It's like impossible. So at
that point, you knew that you guys weren't fucking.
For sure. So we get in a taxi.
I feel like there's still a shot.
Yeah.
We get in a taxi.
You could be the hero in all this, Garry.
We get in a taxi, and and the taxi goes a very short distance. They say something to him in Korean, and he goes like maybe 3-4 blocks. And then I guess maybe they told him to stop. I don't know. And we get out, and I'm so confused. I'm like, why would we go fucking 4 blocks in a taxi? Like after, like, why wouldn't we just walked? Why would we get into a taxi? I don't understand. That's kind of silly. They go to get out. I shit you not. There is a pool of fucking urine underneath both of their seats. The one girl sat in the front. The other girl sat in the back. Pool of urine underneath both seats. And the taxi driver is flipping out. He's screaming at me.
They both
I throw like 20 bucks in the car, and I fucking shut the door.
Wait, these chicks both peed their pants?
Dude, peed their pants in the fucking taxi. And then get this. So then I see the one girl get out, and she squats down the way that a girl like squats down to piss. And I'm thinking, because I can't really see her, I'm thinking when she squats down, she like pulls her pants down and does the fucking squat and everything like that. I don't know. But apparently Yu-Ting told me later.
Pants or miniskirt?
I don't remember. But apparently Yu-Ting said, no, she didn't fucking pull down what she was wearing. She didn't pull down her pants or whatever. She literally just squatted and peed through her pants on the curb afterwards. So dude, I got into my first fist fight ever, got into a taxi, had 2 chicks urinate into in the taxi.
Dude.
Then publicly urinate just through their pants on the street.
So these chicks were just like super drunk?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the urination had something to do with the drunk and partially to do with the trauma.
No, I was saying the trauma.
Yeah, I just look at Yu-Ting. I was like, all right, we did the best we could, bro.
Listen, I'm calling a cultural thing on this. That's a Korean thing.
I'm like, I'm out. I can't communicate with them anymore. I asked them if they needed any more help. They're like, no, whatever. I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. So we go back to the hotel or whatever, but pure chaos.
Jesus.
Yikes.
And that was the end of that, right?
That's it, bro. I thought for sure, like, I can't believe I didn't end up in jail.
So Garry, what made you like slap the dude? What made you just like want to
1,000%
react with a slap?
Pure
slap.
Pure instinct, because I didn't have time to process it at all. Like, so I didn't think.
If you're ever in another altercation, is that going to be like your opener? Just a smack, 5 fingers to the face?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it was because he opened with a slap. I think that's why.
Gotcha.
Honestly, in opening, in altercations that I've done, I have rarely hit someone with a closed fist. Yeah. I generally will either palm strike, slap, throw.
You start with a slap.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Well,
There's no way to
humiliating.
Exactly. There's no way to stop an altercation faster than you slap a motherfucker in the face or grab him by the throat. I'm a big throat grabber. I've gotten in situations where like I can fucking hit you, or I can hit you really hard with my palm in the middle of your fucking throat, and then you can yell in their face. That's usually a way to turn things off pretty quick.
Also, like, I mean, you know this as well as me. It's like, you punch somebody in the face, like now we're risking our own career.
Yeah.
Dude. Like I break my hand on your face. Now I can't fight for fucking 6 weeks. Right.
If I really want to fuck somebody up, like we're in the street, I'm hitting you with an elbow. Yeah. I am headbutting you. Like I'm not using this. Yeah. These little ass bones in my hand. I don't know if I'm gonna bite, but just because of communicable diseases. But
so, is this a myth or not? Are you guys considered like weapons? lethal weapons.
So, all right.
I always hear that, so I'm not.
So the issue is in this country, it's very easy to sue people, and you can sue them civilly. You can have a civil case, and then they can bring that up against you, and then you can get really.
Gotcha. Just saying, like, yeah, these guys are professional fighters.
Yeah, like you're
and then you're
civilly, you could be like, all right, this guy obviously has an advantage over other people.
Of course.
This is a way for us to get an upper hand in a civil suit.
Yep.
Not so much that like you're a fucking registered weapon or anything. The guy says that, you're like, fuck off.
Dude, where did I see that? I think I saw that in a movie.
That was in
the Perfect Weapon movie.
No, no, just recently was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
the Bruce Lee character brings that up, and then the Brad Pitt character is like, anyone who says that's a fucking jerk off. He's right. He's totally right.
Eyewitness News, where news comes first.
So, did you guys hear about the U.S. cruise that was under quarantine?
I did hear about that.
Yeah, I heard about that as well. Which is fucking.
It was called the Diamond Princess. So they were stuck in open waters for 14 days, just quarantined, and they didn't know. It was 14 days, but they didn't ever get notice on when they were being released. And now they were finally released. 400 U.S. passengers.
Have you guys been on a cruise before?
Yes.
Just once.
Dude,
they're a nightmare anyway. I mean, you're trapped. You're paying to be trapped anyway.
I got into a fight in a cruise and went to jail.
Oh, I heard
That's right.
I know this.
Right.
Yeah. I think we'll save that for another podcast.
That's a whole
story. Pretty long story.
It's pretty fucking awesome. I love that story.
That's a good story.
Yeah. So we'll save it for another time. But dude, how crazy is that? Like, imagine being stuck in a freaking cruise, just like, and I heard that the food was like shitty as well. Man, imagine being stuck with like your family and.
How many cases were on the ship? Do they know like how many in terms of the outbreak?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I would assume in a place like I would.
I don't know. I didn't even know that shit was legal. Like they could just hold you like that. Like
quarantine, bro.
Serious shit, man.
Like, that's almost like wartime. Like quarantine is a whole different thing.
Yeah, because
like, hey, when are you guys gonna let us go? No, we don't know.
We don't know.
One day.
But that's the thing. Like the people who are on the ship are quarantined as well. So I have friends who are in Macau that I had met when I fought Pacquiao out there, and they told me that Macau is literally quarantined. Like everyone who works at the hotels out there are stuck in the hotel.
Fuck.
Because they had 10 cases in Macau. Macau's a small place, so like 10 cases of a disease of this nature is very, very dangerous in a small place like that. Especially where everything is very, very dense in terms of you're inside and in casinos. They're locked down. Like all the employees of the casinos are in the casinos.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm really concerned about the repercussions of the coronavirus. Like I'm sure we're going to have some ripple effects soon.
Yeah. I'm nervous about my next fight. It's going to be in April. And I don't know, man.
That shit might be even canceled.
Top Rank canceled their show. They had a show in China. Trying to think, JC Ramirez is fighting Victor Postal in a world title fight in my weight class, and it was in China. It got canceled.
Yeah, mine probably won't be in China, but it's just in Asia, and I just still feel like, you know. Yeah,
I got this app that is like kind of a live feed of the current outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull that shit up. It's pretty interesting. There's been a lot more cases than I thought.
Meanwhile,
Go ahead, Gary.
I was just going to say, meanwhile, my cousin at dinner the other day was pulling up an app where you have to create a disease and kill everybody with it.
Jesus.
So, yeah, 17.
Very apropos.
175 deaths so far.
Wow.
And counting. 71,000 cases.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's mostly in mainland China, but there's a good amount in Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand.
So, Chris, I heard Radio Raheem saying that there's rumblings with Pacquiao versus McGregor.
Yeah, I heard about that even before that. And they're, apparently Dana White's getting into boxing, and that's one of the talks that is
Zuffa boxing. Dude, I do not want to see that fight. I feel like that's a horrible matchup for McGregor.
Yeah, he gets knocked out. Bad.
I think
early.
so. I think so too.
Like really early.
Pacquiao's
a different guy than Mayweather.
Mayweather's gonna come out like fighting him. Mayweather was super defensive.
Yeah, well, Mayweather did what boxers do when we spar with MMA guys. We kind of take our time because you're gonna slow down because the distance, like the metabolic demands are different. You just take your time. all right, because you're gonna throw some weird punches, you're gonna do some things, the angles you can't understand. So I'm just gonna kind of cover up and not really take any chance to get hit with something stupid and break you down over time. Pacquiao's coming out fucking guns blazing.
That's what I think. That
he's throwing across the ring with straight left hands and right hooks, and he's moving
forward.
He's knocking him the fuck out. Like he's going face down.
Yeah.
Totally different guy.
So yeah, hopefully that doesn't ever happen.
You know, that would be cool though, I think, to see. And the reason I think it would be cool is because I think a lot of people watch the McGregor-Mayweather fight and they look at that, and especially with the untrained eye, they go, "Oh, damn, that was a fucking close."
That was close. He took him to deep waters, 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't realize the same thing that like Chris is saying, where it's like, yeah, he's being super conservative. He knows that like he can just finish him off.
It's a matter of time.
It's not a big deal.
I mean,
but a lot of people look at that as like, oh yeah, McGregor beat his fucking ass for X amount of rounds.
You went 9 rounds with him, bro. I would have done the same fucking thing. Because I know you're gonna go. I'm gonna get you eventually, but like I'm gonna take as little risk as possible. Pacquiao doesn't have that mindset at all.
Yeah,
dude,
he's a buzzsaw.
How funny was the Deontay Wilder interview with Radio Raheem?
Bro,
that to this day.
Listening to Radio Raheem describe that and explain it, like what it was, it made so much sense. But at the same time, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. Like, Deontay is a scary dude. Like he's
maybe Radio Raheem soiled his pants too. Those Asian chicks.
But it's funny because like Radio Raheem said in that interview, because I listened to the podcast with Rogan, and it's like he's known Deontay for a long time. Like we know like the pool is so small. We get interviewed by the same people over and over and over and over. Like literally, you have relationships with these people. You've known them for years. I've known Radio Raheem since like 2013. You know, it's like you deal with these people all the time. So for Wilder to take it to that level and not understand what he said, but also like to get at him.
Like how aggressive he said it.
Yeah, it was.
I thought he was gonna sock him.
Yeah, and that's what that Joe even said. He was like, "Were you scared?" But like Radio Raheem said, like I had known him for a long time, and he understood but he also understands it's fucking fight week. You're a different person then.
Yeah,
Deontay Wilder, especially, like you were training for months at a time, like getting ready for this moment.
You're in war mode.
War mode. That's a different guy than the other guy that you've interviewed before.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't sat down in front of that guy. You've never been in front of the guy who fucking knocks people out with one punch like that. Like it's a different guy. Don't ask that guy what he had for breakfast that morning. It's a different thing.
It's Chris's fitness tips he's got for you. He's got the little tips. He's gonna give it all to you. Just the tip. The little fitness tip. He's gonna give it all to you.
So you want to talk a little bit about keto? It's it's gotten a lot of traction. I see a lot of people jumping on the keto diet.
Yeah. So this is especially interesting at this point opportunity right now, because I spoke with former world champion, multiple division world champion, Nonito Donaire, Filipino superstar, this past weekend. I was at the wedding with him, and he's like a keto guy, and he did it for a couple fights. Mm-hmm. And I was always really interested in that because we have the same cut man, and he had mentioned that he does the keto thing, and it's like lots of fat, liver protein, but like really, really focused on that, and he helps him make weight, and it's good for inflammation and things like that. And I spoke to him about it. I was always really interested, like, how do you do that for boxing? I have so many people ask me about it for boxing. I'm like, it doesn't physiologically make sense, because when it comes to anything intense, your body prefers energy coming from carbohydrates and stored glycogen, because anything that you're doing very intense, the anaerobic threshold to produce energy quickly, carbohydrate is a much more efficient fuel. Mm-hmm. Where fat, have tremendous amount of fat. Even the leanest athletes have thousands upon thousands of calories of fat, stored fat, to utilize as energy. But the problem is that it releases energy at a somewhat steady rate. So for anything intense, you don't have that spike of energy and release, and to be as explosive as you normally are. So it would make sense, for a professional fighter, that keto wouldn't be the best bet. Sure, you make weight. Sure, you'd be very, very lean. Sure, your body would be very fat adapted, but your energy stores for faster, explosive movements wouldn't be there. And speaking to Nonito, that's exactly what he said. He had a couple fights where he fought like that, and he said, yeah, I went the distance with guys, but I normally am used to knocking guys out.
He didn't have that pep in his step.
Right. He's like, I could go forever. I had tremendous amount of energy. My endurance was really good. I never really got tired. My heart rate was phenomenal. My output everything was good. He said, but I just didn't have that extra explosive step or that next gear.
His explosiveness suffered.
Yes.
Due to that diet.
Following the ketogenic diet. Made weight fine. Stayed very, very lean. He said he was the leanest he ever was when he was on the keto diet, but performance-wise was not the most beneficial for a boxer and for a fight sport, which makes tremendous amount of sense because, essentially what keto is, and a lot of people actually do it incorrectly, is that they think it's a high protein, high fat diet. It's not. It's a high fat diet. You're looking at 85 to 90% of your total calories coming from fat, with as little as 5 to 10%, less than 10% of your calories coming from protein, and then very, very little or 5 to 15% in protein, very, very little, 5% usually in carbohydrate. And your body becomes fat adapted. We'll start using ketones as its main energy source, which is a good energy source, but like you said, in terms of intense movements, it's not the ideal.
So would you say that a lot of these diets, including the keto diet, is basically trial and error? Like maybe just some body types or some people just don't adapt well to certain diets?
I think, yes. I think there's an individual aspect to it, and each person is different. Each body type is different. Each dietary approach is different. But more importantly, and I think more specifically, I think that these dietary approaches are parts of your diet. It's a diet. It's a dietary approach. You do it for a certain reason, for a certain amount of time, a specified amount of time. It's not a lifestyle. I don't agree that a keto diet is good for everybody across the board and it's the best diet, or that a paleo is this, that. But I think you do it at certain times based on your goals and based on your life and based on your age and based on what time of year it is, as much as that, is going on. So I think that you have to treat diets the way they are. Your diet, essentially, the definition of a diet is everything that you eat over a long period of time. A dietary approach, or these fad diets, or these shortened amount of times you spend in these dietary approaches, they take up a very small percentage of the time. And I think that's the way to go about using these vegan diets, vegetarian diets, paleo diets, keto diets. You do them for a short period of time in order for a very specified goal.
What about the people that would say that you need some time for your body to acclimate to those diets? And maybe like when you say a short period of time, you really need them for a longer period of time for your body to just get used to your fuel source and adapt and optimize.
So when I say short period of time, I mean short period of time could be 6 months. It could be 8 months. It could be a year. I'm just saying it's not like that's your lifestyle. That's not your dietary lifestyle. It's your dietary approach for that period of time. So don't get me wrong when I say short. I don't mean short, but I mean in terms of like your percentage of your life, it's short. But yes, keto is one that takes time. You're looking at weeks to months into being, I think true keto adaptation is minimum like 2 or 3 weeks at a very low carbohydrate and low to moderate protein content with a high fat diet. So.
Yeah, I tried the keto diet for 2 months, and I got that famous keto flu, which I felt like shit.
Yeah.
Just the transition of my body adjusting to that, and I felt the same thing. I didn't feel as explosive. My endurance was good.
Yeah.
But I didn't have when I was weightlifting, I didn't have, let's say, that power that I used to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really what it is. I mean, when you dig into that next gear, when you have to really like kind of dig deep, shoot up that hill or lift that extra heavy weight or explode and drive that clean or do that swing, I think that's when you see the difference in that diet, and that's where.
But
where
I did lean out, and
yeah.
I looked pretty good. So
yeah, you'll look great.
It's great.
I think if you're looking aesthetics, I think keto with combined with intermittent fasting is the way to go. Like if you want to look good and be lean and kind of like have that lifestyle and live that way, I think combining those two, if not one or the other, I think keto and intermittent fasting is a great way to stay lean for a long period of time.
Definitely a great way for cutting as well for our sports specific stuff. And kind of like leaning towards what you said, like, I'm never really been a fan of this sort of shit to begin with in terms of, people taking like, short-term diet shit, because anything that's not sustainable over time to me is just kind of a waste of time.
Right.
But if you're going to have the goal like, hey, I want to look really, really good for my wedding, or I want to look really, really good for this photo shoot or something like that.
Or I want to step on the scale and make weight.
Yeah, exactly. You want to step on the scale and make weight. I think it's probably one of the best. Like, it's certainly gonna be the easiest way to get there, I would think. You know, if you were gonna look the same way in front of a mirror in a month that you would trying to do a ketogenic diet compared to trying to actually lose weight or something like that to get to that point, or do some sort of other, it's going to be way harder. You're going to be able to get to that, whatever that goal is, that look, so much faster with the reduced carb intake because of the way that it retains water in your body. It's just, it's so much easier to do.
Yeah, I did a triathlon a few years ago, and like I was doing a lot of training for it, and it's a ton of cardio. Like it's run, swim, bike, and it's just when you swim, for one, if anyone has ever done like real swim workouts, you're starving afterwards. Like the metabolic demand on a swim is exceptional. And then when you're doing that much cardio, where you're spending literally 2 to 3 hours a day doing endurance, like your carbohydrate needs are huge. And I remember I did this race, and I'm looking at the photos from like the finish, and I'm like, I was just so puffy because I was eating so much carbs during the training process and preparing for the actual run. And you would think, triathletes are so lean and whatever. Like, but you got to like carb like so much and so much. So my body type was not what I would like aesthetically think was the best, but it's not about that. It's about performance. It's different. It's a whole different animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I didn't tell you guys about the edible that I consumed this weekend.
Ooh.
For the first time ever.
Here we go.
But we'll save that for the next podcast because we're running into an hour now.
All right.
We got some really good topics for the next one. So
sick.
But yeah, guys, this has been a good one. For our listeners, our Gmail is fleshwoundpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up with any topics or any questions you guys might have. All right, bitches. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. See you later.
For no man, no man, no man, no man, no.
We'll call it a draw.
No man.
Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a flesh wound. Just a